How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Royal Rumble results / highlights and review video. I'll be going over the entire show results, some of the highlights in my opinion, then give you guys my thoughts and my review at the end. So, starts off with the kickoff, which they've switched up the kickoff panel. Used to be Byron Saxton in there, but he got switched with Jerry the King Lawler, and now Byron Saxton is on the commentary team. Now, I will say, I do like Jerry the King Lawler as a heel, so I'm glad they turned him heel. Anyways, so I'm not really going to go over them hyping up the matches, and I'm going to talk about the backstage segment that they showed, or the interviews. So first off, we had a segment with the League of Nations in their, underground meeting spot. I don't know where it is. And they're talking around a table, and they talk about how Del Rio's going to crush Kalisto and beat him for the US title. And then Sheamus goes ahead and says that after that's done with, since Roman stole his championship, he's going to win it back tonight. And then they all look at him, and then he says, either way, one of us is going to win the Rumble tonight, and then they're all like, yeah! And afterwards, we get Jojo interviewing Kevin Owens, and pretty much to sum it up, he says that tonight he's going to make history by walking out with not just one, but two titles, the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship, because he's going to find a way to make it into the Rumble match even after the last man standing, and he says that this is the Kevin Owens show. And then we get Darren Young and Damien Sandow versus Mark Henry and Jack Swagger versus the Ascension versus the Dudley Boyz. Henry and Swagger end up getting the win when the Dudleys hit the 3D on, it was either Victor or Konnor, one of the guys in the Ascension. And then they throw out Devon outside the ring, and Jack Swagger pulls Bubba to the outside slightly, just to get his foot so he can lock him in the Patriot lock. So half of Bubba is inside the ring, his upper half, and his lower half is on the outside of the ring, getting put in the Patriot lock. And then Mark Henry goes ahead, and while Swagger has that Patriot lock locked in, Henry hits the big splash on Bubba's back, and then he goes ahead and covers the Ascension member that just got hit with the 3D, and they win the match, and thus move on to the Royal Rumble match. After that, we get a backstage social outcasts, the whole Twitter question and answer segment, and they kick out the guy hosting the thing, and they take over and answer some questions, and then we move on to the main show, and it starts off with the Intercontinental Championship last man standing match, Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. Now, it starts out, I'm going to go over the highlights, by the way. I'm not going to go over every single thing. So, Dean Ambrose goes ahead and starts it off with a suicide dive on Owens, sending him over the announce table. And then we get him sending Owens into the steps. And Owens gets back up at the count of 4, so Ambrose starts hitting him with kendo stick shots. And then Kevin Owens goes ahead and super kicks him, and this is on the outside, by the way. He then goes ahead and hits a cannonball on Ambrose, who's like lying on the barricade, so they go through the barricade with the cannonball. That was cool. First time I see that, barricade break with the cannonball. And Dean Ambrose ends up getting back up at the count of 8, but then he starts getting hit with kendo stick shots from Owens. And then Kevin then goes ahead and pulls out several chairs, and he puts them on the ring. He grabs one of them, and on the outside, he hits Dean Ambrose with it. And then he sets up 2 chairs inside the ring. He gets back inside. He sits on one of the chairs while putting his feet on the other one. Ambrose eventually gets back in the ring and hits him with a rebound clothesline. And then Kevin Owens, once he's back up, he tries to go for a powerbomb on the chairs, but Ambrose backdrops him into the 2 chairs that he set up. And then shortly after, on the outside, Ambrose goes for another suicide dive, but this time Kevin Owens catches him and he sends him into the steps 3 times. And then he pulls the table from under the ring, he sets it up, this is on the outside, and he goes ahead and yells at a fan, "Thanksgiving's in November, moron." Kind of reminded me of when Jericho told that fan, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot." So anyways, and that fan kept on yelling out a bunch of random stuff throughout the show. So, afterwards, Kevin Owens goes ahead and pulls a second table, and he stacks that up on top of that same table. So he's got 2 tables stacked up, and the fan is still just spouting up random stuff. He's like, "Yo, Kevin Owens, you shouldn't be doing this. You've got a wife." Like, what's that got to do with this? But anyways, so once he sets that up, he goes ahead and tries for a superplex from the top on Ambrose through the tables, but Ambrose stops it. And then Ambrose grabs one of the chairs in the ring, he throws it at Kevin Owens' head, and Kevin Owens' head actually goes through the chair, and he's got that chair like wrapped around his head or his neck for a good while. Ambrose starts hitting him with punches and chops while he's still got the chair in there. Eventually it just, flies away or, falls off. And then afterwards, pop-up powerbomb attempt by Kevin Owens, but it gets reversed into Dirty Deeds. Kevin Owens gets back up at the count of 8. But it's not over just yet, because Ambrose goes ahead and throws a chair at the mat, and he hits another Dirty Deeds on Kevin Owens, except this time on the chair. And Kevin Owens ends up rolling out the ring, and since he's rolling out the ring, once he's outside, he lands on his feet, thus breaking the count, but right away he falls down. I thought this was a nice way to break the count, while not, I guess, making the Dirty Deeds move look weak or anything like that. It was a pretty cool way to, technically break the counts. So afterwards, Ambrose pulls out a table, and then he sets it up. He puts Kevin Owens on top of that table, and then he gets up top, and by the way, this table is on the outside. He gets up top and hits an elbow drop from the top turnbuckle on Kevin Owens through the table. And then they both get up at the count of 8. Actually, I would say Ambrose maybe got up at the count of 7. Kevin Owens, though, got up at the count of 8. And then once they're back in the ring, Ambrose gets another table, bringing that in the ring. And then Ambrose tries to go for a superplex through that table, but Kevin Owens counters it into a top rope or top turnbuckle fisherman buster through the table. That was pretty damn cool, and Ambrose ends up getting up at the count of 8. So Owens picks him back up, starts yelling at him, telling him to stay down, and then he follows it up with the pop-up powerbomb. Dean gets up at the count of 9, but falls right back down. So then Kevin Owens, with all the chairs in the ring, he sets up 4 of them. And what I mean by sets them up is he actually unfolds them, so he can actually sit on them. So he sets 4 of them up, and he puts them in a square position, and then he grabs this other chair that was around his neck that's kind of messed up now, and he puts that at the very top. So it's like 4 chairs set up, unfolded, with 1 that is folded on the top. So then he puts Ambrose on top of that. He gets up top, and it looks like he's about to go for a moonsault because he's facing the other way, and then Ambrose quickly gets back up, and he pushes Kevin Owens off the top, and Owens flips onto or through the 2 stacked tables on the outside, and he's counted out, so Ambrose wins the match. Pretty cool last man standing match, really enjoyed it, nice opener for the show, and yeah, really enjoyed the match. So afterwards, we get the New Day versus the Usos, and before the match, the New Day always has to cut a promo. And so they come out asking for a moment of silence for Francesca, and then it's just Biggie and Kofi, but then we start hearing a trombone playing, so Woods comes out with a new trombone, and then he introduces us to that trombone, calling it Francesca number 2. So then Kofi goes ahead and asks him, yo, but what about number 1? And then Woods, now this part kind of made me chuckle, but anyways, Woods goes ahead and says, I can't mourn forever, a brother's got needs. And then afterwards, they talk about how in 2016, it's going to be all gold for the New Day because, they're going to retain the tag team titles here and win the Rumble and all of that. So anyways, moving on, the Usos come out for the tag team title match. So I'm going to go over the highlights, some of the big moments of the match. So on the outside, you had Jey Uso hitting a drop kick on Big E, sending him into the barricade. And then while the referee had his back turned, Woods went ahead and hit a tornado DDT off the barricade on Jey. And then after that, the crowd started chanting. Once they get Jey back in the ring, the crowd started chanting. By the way, the crowd on this show oftentimes was chanting. You guys remember the "Hey, we want some New Day" chant? Well, they were chanting for various things using that chant. So they were chanting in the pre-show, in the kickoff match. They were chanting, hey, we want some Damien Sandow, or something along those lines. Basically, they wanted Sandow to get tagged in. And during the Last Man Standing match, they were chanting, hey, we want some tables. And here, they were chanting for the trombone, but Woods said that he plays it when he wants to. And so anyways, they work on Jay for a while until Jimmy gets the hot tag. Jimmy Uso then starts going to work. He catches Kofi from the top with a Samoan drop, and then he hits Kofi with a nasty attack in the corner, and then he hits Whisper in the Wind on Big E. I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually call it Whisper in the Wind, and that's what Jeff Hardy calls it. But I'm just calling it because most people know the move as Whisper in the Wind. And also, to be completely honest with you, I don't know what else to call it. So, Jimmy then goes up top trying to go for the splash on Big E. But then Kofi gets on the apron trying to distract him, so Jay grabs Kofi trying to throw him into the barricade. But Kofi Kingston counters and throws Jay into the crowd. And then Big E takes Jimmy off the top rope with that distraction. And then he hits him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Jay then jumps out of nowhere from the barricade on Kofi, and then Big E hits the apron spear on Jimmy, so they're all on the outside at this point. Then once they get back in the ring, Big E tries to go for the big ending with Kofi hitting the DDT, so the big ending into the DDT. But they get stopped when the Uso goes ahead and slips off Big E's shoulders and pushes Big E towards Kofi, but Kofi jumps over Big E, but then he gets caught with the super kick, and then he gets hit with a splash, so the ref goes for the count, 1, 2, but Woods gets Kofi's foot on the ropes. So then the referee breaks the count and he doesn't see Woods doing that. Uso then calls out Woods and Big E goes ahead and grabs him and shoves him into the barricade. And then Kofi Kingston starts attacking Jey Uso in the corner. And while he doesn't see it, Big E tags himself in. And then Jey super kicks Kofi. He goes for the splash, but then out of nowhere, Big E catches him into the big ending, hits it, covers him, 1, 2, 3, and the New Day retain the tag team titles. Really good tag team match. Really enjoyed this. And moving on, we had a Bray Wyatt promo saying that tonight they're going to slaughter everybody. And after it's all over, they'll truly have the world in his hands. Well, he'll truly have the whole world in his hands. And we get Del Rio versus Kalisto for the United States Championship. So, to kick it off, Kalisto hits a suicide dive. And then once he tries getting back in the ring from the top rope, Del Rio catches him with an enziguri. And then he goes for a Hurricane Rana, but Del Rio counters it into a knee gutbuster. That was a pretty cool counter. Del Rio hits the super kick that, as JBL says, won him the world title. It's like, he always says it whenever he hits the super kick. Goes for the cover, and Kalisto kicks out. Kalisto then stops the cross armbreaker attempt, dodges an enziguri from Del Rio, and he hits him with a jumping tornado DDT from the top. And then Kalisto tries to go for something from the top, but Del Rio counters it with an inverted suplex from the top. And then Kalisto goes for what looked to be like a sunset flip, but it was totally botched. Except at the end there, it looked like he kind of saved it into a roll-up, but it was obviously, botched. But, like I said, he still managed to save it into something that looked like he might have been trying to do that in the first place. So, Del Rio then tries to go for his stop from the top while Kalisto's upside down. But Kalisto's actually hanging upside down from the second rope and not the first one. But yeah, Kalisto just dodges it by not holding on to the ropes. And then afterwards, he actually hits the Salito del Sol, but he's real close to the ropes, so Del Rio just grabs the ropes and breaks the count. And then he goes for a springboard move, but Del Rio counters it with some double knees, but it connected, but it seemed like it didn't connect as he wanted it to. Because it looked like it was trying to go for something that looked like a maybe more of a gutbuster or a cool breaker, but it just looked like Del Rio just put his knees up and he barely hit his shoulder or something. And afterwards, Del Rio exposes the turnbuckle, and then he tries to send Kalisto into that exposed turnbuckle. You know how that goes. Whenever the heel goes ahead and exposes the turnbuckle and tries to send the face into it, he ends up eating that exposed turnbuckle. So that's exactly what happened. Kalisto ended up countering that and then sending him with a Hurricane Rana into the exposed turnbuckle. Salito del Sol for the second time, 1, 2, 3. And Kalisto wins the United States Championship, becoming a 2-time U.S. champ. I thought Del Rio was going to win this initially, but yeah, it's cool to see Kalisto winning this. The only thing is, with Kalisto winning this, that means Del Rio is now, he now has a rematch. He's going to invoke a rematch, so we're going to have another match. Hopefully Kalisto wins that so that way it's over. Because if Del Rio then wins it back, that means another rematch, and as good as a match could be, or is, whatever, I just can't watch the same thing over and over and over again. So, afterwards, we get Paul Heyman. Well, actually, we see Stephanie McMahon backstage, and she's on the phone, and she's laughing, and then Paul Heyman comes up to her, talking about how after Brock Lesnar, wins the Rumble tonight, they could renegotiate Brock's contract for more money, whatever. And then Stephanie says, yeah, as long as, Brock targets Roman, we can talk after the show, whatever. So, then we get Charlotte versus Becky Lynch for the Divas Championship. They show a video package before the match. It's the video package that leads you to believe that maybe Becky's gonna win this, because, it seems like they really put some effort into that video package. But that video package also reminded me of Christian versus Del Rio back at SummerSlam a couple years back, when they had that big video package for Christian, making it seem like maybe there was a possibility that Christian was gonna win, but of course he didn't win. And this was the case here. So anyways, Becky goes after Charlotte on the outside, kind of early on in the match, but Flair gets in front of her, and then Charlotte, who's behind Flair, pushes Flair to the side and tries to go for a big boot on Becky, but Becky ducks, and then she hits her with a clothesline, and then Ric Flair goes ahead and grabs Becky and kisses her, and then she slaps him, and then that distraction allows, of course, Charlotte to take control inside the ring. She's got Becky in a head scissor submission, but then Becky counters it with the electric chair, and then Charlotte goes for the figure 8, but Becky just hits her with a single punch, to stop it from happening, and then Becky hits the exploder suplex, only gets a 2 count though. A second one, but Charlotte kicks out once again, and then she goes for the disarmer, but it gets countered with a roll-up, followed up by a spear from Charlotte, and Becky kicks out. And then Becky manages to roll Charlotte from the top, because they were fighting it out on the top. Becky tries to roll her up into a cross arm breaker, and she gets it for a short while, but Charlotte ends up getting out of it by slamming Becky to the mat, and then Becky goes ahead and finds herself resting like right in front of Ric Flair. She's like sitting and laying on the ropes, and right behind her is Ric Flair. So then Charlotte goes for a running baseball slide, but Becky gets out the way, so Charlotte accidentally hits Flair. And at this point, I actually thought that maybe Becky Lynch could win the championship, because she just had Charlotte take out Flair. But what ended up happening instead is Ric Flair ended up getting back up pretty soon afterwards, and he got on the apron, distracting Becky while Becky had this armor locked in on Charlotte. He throws his jacket on Becky's face, and then Becky's like taking it off, and then she lets go of the disarmer, and then she gets speared by Charlotte. Charlotte pins her, 1, 2, 3, and Charlotte retains the Divas Championship. And then after the match, she starts slamming Becky's face against the mat. And then Sasha Banks' music hits to a pop from the crowd. And she gets in the ring. She goes ahead right away and she kicks Becky. That gets some boos. She kicks her out of the ring. And then she pretends like she's cool with Charlotte. They do like a handshake. And then Ric Flair gets out the ring. And before Charlotte can get out the ring, Sasha Banks, of course, goes ahead and attacks her. She locks in the bank statement, and that's it. So Sasha is going after Charlotte's Divas Championship. So after that, it was time for the Royal Rumble match. So the way I'm going to go over this is I'm going to let you guys know every superstar's entry number, and then right after, I'll let you know if they did anything of significance or anything I thought maybe was interesting. Like if they just got in and they hit like one clothesline and that was it, I'm not going to go over it. So anyways, number 1 was Roman Reigns, of course. Number 2 was Rusev. So they set it up where the number 2 guy was the guy that Roman Reigns eliminated to win last year's Rumble. So Rusev gets some offense in. He actually throws Roman Reigns through the ropes, but through the ropes, not over the top ropes. So he doesn't actually eliminate Reigns. He actually thinks he does, though. So he pokes his head out and he's like, oh, I won, or I eliminated Reigns. And then Reigns hits him with the dropkick on the apron. He gets back in the ring, spear, throws Rusev out, and that's it. So Rusev's performance in this one was nowhere near his performance as the year before. Or even this first year, which was the year before that. Anyways, number 3 was AJ Styles. So at first, like, I was hearing this theme song. It was a new theme song. I was like, okay, who is this? because they played it, we didn't see, who was on the stage or anything. They just showed Roman Reigns on the camera for a while. I was like, is this a former superstar who maybe got a new theme song or something? But no, it was AJ Styles. And in the beginning, the crowd wasn't popping because they didn't see AJ Styles, and I think everybody was confused. And then once they saw AJ Styles, that's when the crowd popped. So he gets in the ring. He has a very short stare down with Reigns, and then Reigns right away just grabs him and tries to eliminate him, but AJ Styles counters with a roll-up, and then counters that roll-up follows that roll-up up with the Styles Clash attempt, because he never hit it. He was trying to go for it, but Roman Reigns, gets out of it, and then AJ Styles follows that up with the Pele kick, and then once again tries to go for the Styles Clash, but once again it doesn't work out for AJ as it gets countered into a Samoan drop. And then at number 4, Tyler Breeze, he comes out, he hits a couple kicks, and AJ Styles ends up eliminating him along with Reigns. I would say both eliminated him, because they were both helping out to eliminate him. It wasn't clear who was the one that was responsible for that elimination, and on commentary they were also kind of confused. So we'll say AJ and Reigns both eliminate Breeze. At number 5, we saw the Social Outcasts come out, and it ended up being Curtis Axel. So Axel gets in the ring, and then the Social Outcasts, the rest of them, get on the apron, and both Reigns and AJ take them off the apron, and then AJ ends up clotheslining Axel out the ring and eliminating him. Number 6 was Y2J. He came in the ring, and he also had a stare down with both AJ and Reigns. He ended up going after Reigns first. Number 7 was Kane. Number 8 was Goldust. Number 9 was Ryback. Now, when Ryback came out, he pretty much took out everybody. He was running towards them and hitting them with an axe handle, and then he would run towards the corner and hit them with high knees, and then he hit a spinebuster on Kane. Number 10 was Kofi, and at this point, once Kofi was out, Ryback hit AJ Styles with a huge back chop. Now, I'm not sure if AJ's responsible for that, because I know AJ can jump, or if Ryback was responsible, or both. So anyways, cool back chop, a lot of air on that one, and AJ Styles also hit a springboard forearm on Y2J. And then at number 11 was Titus O'Neil. He actually lasted a bit here, and he actually, got a good performance, and he hit a couple backbreakers on AJ, and then he just threw him. And then at number 12, R-Truth comes out. Now, I like this part. So R-Truth goes ahead, before he gets inside the ring, he looks under the apron, he grabs a ladder, and right away I'm like, alright, I know where this is going, judging from the past segments with him, thinking he's participating in this match, but he's not, or thinking he's, going to be inducted for this, but that was last week or whatever. He goes ahead, grabs the ladder, puts it in the ring, everybody's looking at him, he sets up the ladder, and then starts climbing it, because he thinks it's a ladder match, and then he looks up top, and he doesn't see anything, and then he yells out something, I didn't really hear what he said, and then Kane just grabs him from the ladder, pulls him down, grabs him by the throat, and throws him out. So that was it for R-Truth. And then Kane actually threw out Kofi, but Kofi landed on Big E's shoulder, and then Big E ran with Kofi around the ring, and they started dancing with Kofi on their shoulder. So, once again, Kofi, found a way to save himself, or in this case, his partners of the New Day helped him out. And then at number 13, we had Luke Harper, and at this point, the League of Nations actually came out, and they took Roman from the bottom of the ring, or pulled him out from the bottom, so he's not eliminated, but they take him to the outside, they send him to the steps, Sheamus bro kicks him, they put him on the announce table, and Rusev hits a splash on Roman through the table. And Vince McMahon at this point is there, and he's encouraging all this, and he's happy, he hugs Rusev, Sheamus, and Del Rio. So at number 14, it's Stardust, and then at number 15, it's The Big Show, and Big Show right away throws Titus O'Neil out the ring, and then he also KOs, hits a knockout punch on Ryback, sending him off the apron to the outside, eliminating him. And then they show a replay of Jericho throwing Kofi out, and this time he actually got thrown out and eliminated. But we didn't see it, I think, because Roman Reigns was getting beat up on the outside and the camera was on that. So I'm pretty sure Kofi got eliminated during that time, because when we saw it on the replay. So afterwards, the doctor starts escorting Roman out of, I guess, the arena, or out of ringside. And then at number 16, we got Neville. He gets some offense in once he gets in. Number 17 is Braun Strowman, and right away, he stops Kane's chokeslam, and he throws him out, so he eliminates Kane. And he also starts trading blows with the Big Show, and he puts him in the sleeper, and then he throws him out. And then at number 18, we get Owens coming out, and he's limping, and right away, he goes after AJ Styles. They trade punches. Once again, Styles goes for the Styles Clash, this time on Neville, but Kevin Owens stops him with a super kick, and then he throws AJ out. I wanted to see a bigger, them making a bigger deal out of AJ's elimination, or maybe I wanted to see AJ last a bit more, but anyways, afterwards, at number 19, we get Dean Ambrose, so right after Kevin Owens. And he goes right after Kevin Owens. They fight it out. And then at number 20, guess who it is? It's somebody else that doesn't like Kevin Owens, at least storyline-wise or kayfabe-wise. Sami Zayn, he comes out, goes right after Kevin Owens. That was a nice surprise to see Sami Zayn in there. But I did say in my Royal Rumble prediction video that if an NXT superstar made an appearance at the Rumble, that it would be Sami Zayn. And I ended up being right. Anyways, number 21 was Erick Rowan. But did I mention Sami Zayn throughout Kevin Owens? I think I did. But anyways, 21, Erick Rowan, he comes out and he eliminates Neville. And then Harper super kicks Stardust off the apron, so Stardust is also eliminated. And then at number 22 is Mark Henry. And they go over how this might be Mark Henry's last Royal Rumble, because Mark Henry mentioned that. And for his last Royal Rumble, his performance was pretty bad, because the Wyatts threw him out pretty much right away. And then they also threw out Sami Zayn. And then at number 23, Brock Lesnar. Now, I didn't expect Brock to come in, I guess, so early. Even though 23 isn't early, I expected Brock to come in at the very later stages, like maybe 28, 29, 30. But anyway, so he comes out, and right away, he goes after the Wyatt family. German suplex to Luke Harper, belly to Rowan, and he goes ahead and actually takes down Braun Strowman with a clothesline, and then he clotheslines Erick Rowan out the ring, eliminating him. And at number 24 is Jack Swagger. He comes in, and man, poor Swagger. The guy comes in, F5 right away, and I mean right away, and then he gets thrown out. So, yeah, he won the match on the pre-show, or on the kickoff, to get a spot in the Rumble, but both him and Mark Henry got eliminated right away. So, that was short-lived. And then Brock goes ahead and suplexes both Ambrose and Harper. Not a double suplex, but he suplexes each one of them. And then he starts hitting running high knees to Braun in the corner. And then The Miz comes out at number 25. Now he sees Brock in there, and he's acting tough, like he's going to get in the ring and everything, but actually he gets on the commentary team, he puts the headset on, and he starts talking about how he's waiting for the perfect opportunity, which is actually pretty smart. So he's like, I'm going to wait for my perfect opportunity to get inside the ring, let the others waste their energy. So anyways, during this time, Brock goes ahead and eliminates Luke Harper with a belly suplex over the top rope. So Harper and Rowan are both eliminated. At number 26 is Del Rio, and at this point, Brock Lesnar actually clotheslines Braun Strowman out the ring. And at 27 is Bray Wyatt, so now it's only Bray in the Rumble, and the other Wyatt family members are eliminated. But Bray has a plan. He goes ahead and signals for the Wyatt family members to get on the apron and go ahead and attack Brock. So they do attack Brock, but Brock, being the beast that he is, he still throws them all back out, except for Bray Wyatt. And then Bray, or the Wyatt family, come back in shortly after. They go ahead and attack Brock once again. Bray Wyatt hits Sister Abigail, and then they throw Brock out. And by they, I don't mean Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, I mean just the Wyatt family, excluding Bray. So they throw him out despite not being in the match. So Brock's out, and after he's out, he actually doesn't attack them or anything. And at number 28 is Dolph Ziggler. Now, once Dolph Ziggler comes out, he starts super kicking everybody, and then The Miz finally decides to get back in the ring, once Brock is no longer there, and he hits the skull-crushing finale on Ziggler. At number 29 is Sheamus, and before he can get back in the ring, you hear the crowd start getting loud, and so he turns around, he gets hit with a Superman punch. Roman Reigns gets in the ring, right away he throws The Miz out, he clotheslines Del Rio out, and he hits a Superman punch on Bray Wyatt. And then, at number 30, I think pretty much all of you can guess who number 30 is. That's right, it's Triple H. Triple H comes out, and he's having a stare down with Roman Reigns from the stage. And then he gets in the ring, they have a stare down once again, and then Dolph charges Triple H. Triple H hits him with the pedigree, and then Bray goes after Roman. Roman hits him with a spear. They start the stare down again, and then they start fighting it out. They start trading punches. And eventually, Sheamus goes ahead and hits a bro kick on Dean Ambrose, and Bray Wyatt hits a side slammer, Uranagi, on Sheamus. And then Bray gets hit with a bulldog from Jericho, who's still in this match. Y2J then follows it up with the lion salt. He hits the triangle dropkick on Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns grabs onto the ropes and ends up just falling on the apron. And afterwards, Ziggler hits Y2J with the zigzag, and then he fights it out with Triple H. Triple H is on the apron. Ziggler hits him with a super kick, and it looked for a slight moment that maybe Triple H was going to get eliminated, but no, Triple H holds on to the ropes. And then he hits a Fame-Ace on Triple H. He runs towards Triple H once he gets back up, and that's a mistake he shouldn't be doing in the Rumble, especially close to the ropes. And then Triple H just throws Ziggler out the ring, eliminating him. And then once Triple H turns around, he's confronted by Bray Wyatt right in front of him. They're face to face, almost nose to nose. And Triple H motions that he doesn't want to fight Bray, and instead points at Roman Reigns hey, let's go ahead and get him instead. And Bray pretends he's agreeing, but then right away uppercuts Triple H, and then he sends Triple H in the corner. He charges him, hits him, and then he prepares for Sister Abigail, basically gets the better of Triple H, and Triple H looks like he's about to counter into the pedigree, but then Bray Wyatt counters it into Sister Abigail, or an attempt at it. He kisses Triple H in the forehead, or on the forehead, I should say, and then Sheamus stops it from happening when he goes ahead and bro kicks Bray Wyatt. And then Sheamus and Triple H eliminate Bray Wyatt out the match. And then moving on a bit, we get Jericho and Triple H fighting it out. Triple H goes for the pedigree, Y2J counters it into trying to go for the walls of Jericho, but Triple H powders out of it, and then Jericho hits him with the codebreaker and then follows it up with the obligatory, come on baby, and then gets eliminated by Dean Ambrose. So that leaves us with the final four: Ambrose, Sheamus, Reigns, and Triple H. Sheamus tries to go for a bro kick on Ambrose while Ambrose is right in front of the ropes, which is a mistake, so he kind of falls over and gets on the apron, and then Roman Reigns goes ahead and follows it up with a Superman punch, and Sheamus is eliminated. And right after that Superman punch, Triple H comes running behind Reigns and throws him over the top rope. Now I was surprised at that. Not because Triple H eliminated Reigns, not surprised at that part, but I was surprised that he eliminated Reigns before Dean Ambrose, and that the final two was Triple H and Dean Ambrose. Not surprised that the final two is Triple H, but surprised that Dean Ambrose is in there. But hey, I'm happy about it, and I thought it was actually pretty cool that at the end, it was Ambrose and Triple H instead of Triple H and Reigns, because I think that was expected by most people, so it's nice to see that, wasn't completely as expected. So anyways, when it comes to Ambrose and Triple H hits the facebuster, the knee facebuster on Ambrose. Ambrose rebounds off of it and hits the clothesline, and then he picks Triple H up, and he tries to send him to that side, but Triple H counters it, tries to go for the pedigree, and Ambrose gets out of it. He throws Triple H over the top rope. Triple H lands on the apron, and then Ambrose goes ahead and charges him with a running tackle. Triple H hangs on. He tries to go for another one, but Triple H gets his knees up, so Ambrose hits his head on Triple H's knee, and then Triple H sticks his head in the ring, puts it under or between Ambrose's legs, and he backdrops him outside the ring, and Triple H wins by eliminating Dean Ambrose, and Triple H is the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Stephanie gets in the ring, she hugs Triple H, Mr. McMahon gets in the ring too, they celebrate with Triple H, and then right before Triple H can hit his pose, with the championship, the show cuts off. The show ends. It's like, hey, why didn't they let Triple H finish? But anyways, so yeah, Triple H wins the Rumble as expected by, I think, a lot of people. So anyways, what did I think about the Royal Rumble? You know what? Overall, I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed pretty much all the matches. Really enjoyed the Last Man Standing match. That was a really good Last Man Standing match. Nice opener to the show. Happy that Kalisto won the US title. I hope they end this soon. So I hope they get the rematch out the way on Raw, and that's it. And then Kalisto can move on to a new challenger on Fastlane, WrestleMania, and all of that. And also, what else was there? The US title match, the IC title match. We had the Divas match, which, by the way, when Charlotte went ahead and dropkicked Ric Flair, I actually thought that we might just see Becky roll her up and get the 1-2-3 and become the new Divas champion. So there was an element of, I guess, unpredictability there for a short while. And then Sasha Banks coming out afterwards, hitting the bank statement on Charlotte. I predicted that too. Now, not Sasha coming out after the match, but I did say that I think at WrestleMania we might just see Sasha versus Charlotte. Now, I know Fastlane is the pay-per-view after Royal Rumble, so maybe we see it there, but I don't know, like, I feel we could see this at WrestleMania, and if it's not one-on-one at WrestleMania, maybe Charlotte versus Sasha versus Becky in a triple threat match. We'll see, but I think it will involve Sasha in there. And also, Usos and The New Day had a great tag team match. I love the ending. I didn't see Big E coming out there out of nowhere, catching him for the big ending. I knew Big E was going to play a part in the ending because obviously he got the tag without Jay seeing it. But that catch there into the big ending, I didn't see it coming. Like, we didn't see Big E. We just saw Jay going for the splash, and then all of a sudden Big E's like in the ring, and he's got him on the shoulder, hits the big ending, and that's it. And also that line by Woods, not gonna mourn, I can't mourn forever, you know, brother's got needs. That got a chuckle out of me. And when it comes to the Rumble match itself, I enjoyed it. I thought this Rumble was a lot better than last year. Last year's Rumble might just be like one of the worst Rumbles out there. It was a bad Rumble match, man. Aside from the surprises, like I like DDP coming out and all that, I'm talking about last year right now. As far as the surprises, I thought last year's surprises were, I guess there were more surprises, but like this year, there really wasn't any surprises. I mean, a lot of us expected AJ to be there. He was there, which was really cool. And I guess Sami Zayn was the biggest surprise, because I think AJ being there was more likely than Sami Zayn. But yeah, as far as surprises goes, maybe not the most surprising Royal Rumble when it comes to entrance, but a lot better than last year. This was a good Rumble match. I enjoyed it. There were some cool moments. Really like how Dean Ambrose made it to the final two. And if you really look at it, first off, Dean Ambrose competed in that Last Man Standing match, and also he competed in the Rumble match, making it to the final two. So Dean Ambrose, for the Dean Ambrose fans, Dean Ambrose looked really strong in this, because the guy, like I said, Last Man Standing match, and then still number 2 in the Rumble, outlasting Roman Reigns. I mean, he was there after Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns was in the match. Actually, you know what? No, because Roman Reigns did get taken out by the League of Legends, and then he was out of the match for a while. So between Ambrose and Reigns, I'm not sure which one actually lasted longer in the match. I don't know, maybe Reigns by a little bit. But yeah, happy to see Ambrose looking strong in the match. Also, I liked Wyatt's part in the match, even though he didn't I'm not even sure, did Wyatt get an elimination in the match? Like, I might have mentioned it, but I can't recall the elimination, or at least an important one. So, even though I don't even think he eliminated anybody, although he did tell the Wyatt family to eliminate Brock Lesnar, I liked his part in the match, and I liked the fact that Triple H, the boss, telling him, hey, let's go after Roman Reigns. He didn't follow Triple H's orders. While everybody else probably would have, he just uppercutted Triple H and he went after him. So that was pretty cool. And I think we can figure out a bunch of the WrestleMania matches from this Rumble match. I'll tell you actually, you know what? No, I won't tell you right now. Actually, I'll tell you one of them. I think it's pretty obvious that at WrestleMania now, probably going to be Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't let things go like that. The Wyatt family eliminated Lesnar, and Lesnar did not go ahead and attack the Wyatt family afterwards in the match. But once Brock comes back, I'm sure he's going to go after the Wyatt family, and I'm pretty sure the next time we see Brock competing, it's probably going to be at WrestleMania. Although with them trying to make Fastlane like a bigger pay-per-view, who knows, maybe Brock could compete there too. If he does though, what they could do is they could have Brock versus like Braun Strowman at Fastlane, and then at WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt versus Brock. But please don't have Braun Strowman versus Brock at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure those rumors are bogus anyways. And yeah, so overall, cool show. Really liked it. And Triple H winning, yeah, it was, I guess, expected. It was predictable. It was between, to me, and I think to a lot of people, it was between Triple H, Brock Lesnar, or Roman Reigns. And the only reason why I thought Triple H had a better chance than even Brock Lesnar was because if Triple H wasn't going to face off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, who was he going to face off against? Well, on the other hand, Brock Lesnar, if he wasn't going to face off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he's got a bunch of opponents he can face off against. Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, which definitely seems to be the match that they're going to go with at Mania when it comes to Lesnar. And I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Brock versus new opponents, and if he's going to face off against Bray, I welcome that. I want to see Brock versus Bray, Brock versus Randy, Brock versus Batista. Batista comes back. There's a bunch of matches they could go with Brock. And also, when it came to the end there, Ambrose and Triple H, what I like about that, instead of it being Roman versus Triple H, which would have been pretty predictable for the last two, is this wasn't predictable. This was pretty unexpected there. And also, since it was Ambrose in there, and that was pretty unexpected to have him in the final two, I was like, what if they pull the unexpected and they actually have Ambrose win it? So there was that slight, I guess, unpredictability in there, but it was a slight one. It wasn't a major one. I was pretty sure, though, at the end, Triple H was probably going to win anyways. But I'm interested in seeing what they go with at Fastlane now. See, at Fastlane now, I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus somebody to get an opportunity at Triple H's championship. Because why would Triple H want to just give Roman Reigns a title shot at WrestleMania? The Royal Rumble, him winning the Royal Rumble match guarantees Triple H a spot at WrestleMania now. Why would he, after beating Roman Reigns and taking that away from Reigns, why would he then just give it to him like that? So what I'm thinking is for Fastlane, I think it's either going to be Reigns versus Ambrose, and the winner goes ahead and moves on to WrestleMania for a shot at Triple H's championship. This could be something Triple H would pull off. Putting the two best friends up against each other and just enjoying watching it. Because also, Ambrose, like I said, he made it to the final two, so it would make sense in this case. And also, the other option would be Roman versus Brock Lesnar. And that would also be something Triple H maybe would pull off because he doesn't want Triple H to make it to WrestleMania. But then also, would Triple H want Brock Lesnar to win that match and go after Triple H? Yeah. So out of those two, I'd say probably Reigns versus Ambrose would be more likely if they even go that route. But I think they will, especially with them trying to make Fastlane a bigger pay-per-view. And whichever one of those matches happens, I think there's going to be interference that will cause Reigns to win, or it's going to be a draw, maybe, if it's Ambrose and Reigns. Maybe. I say maybe because I think I can see Ambrose versus Jericho at Mania. Actually, you know what? I wowould say Ambrose versus Y2J at Mania is more likely than Ambrose, Reigns, and Triple H for the championship and the triple threat. And if it's Reigns versus Brock at Fastlane, I could see Bray Wyatt getting involved, setting up the match at Mania, Bray versus Brock. Anyways, I'm talking too much about the future here. When we go back to the Rumble here, I enjoyed it. Yeah, the Rumble winner was predictable, but it's going to be interesting to see Triple H now as a champion. Is he going to defend the championship against anybody during this time? Like at Fastlane or on Raw or something like that? Or is he going to just hold on to it until WrestleMania and not defend it? We'll see. But overall, I'd give this show an 8 to an 8.5 on 10. Thought all the matches were good. None of the matches were bad. This Rumble was a lot better than last year's Rumble. You had AJ Styles in there, you had Sami Zayn in there, you had Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose making it to the final 2. Also, we didn't have Kane and the Big Show in the final 4, eliminating everybody. Instead, they were both used to put over Braun Strowman and make him look strong. So Braun Strowman also had a good performance here. Bray Wyatt, I liked how he didn't take any orders, and he went right after Triple H. I really liked R-Truth's spot there. That's something that they haven't done before. And despite the Rumble winner being predictable, it was a good Royal Rumble match in my opinion. So, that's it. Pretty cool show to me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what was your favorite moment in the Rumble. I'd have to say AJ Styles making his WWE debut. So I'm out. See you guys.